A very interesting three-game slate for your Saturday night here. And it kicks off at 3 p.m. with the Roosters v Dragons. You've got Eagles v Knights, Titans v the Broncos there. I'll pick a couple of guys from each game there, and you can help fill out the rest based on the prices that you want to play with. But outside backs, I think it's pretty clear that someone like James Tedesco is going to be pretty important in this game. So both teams in this one, so we've got the Roosters in this game, Manly in the other, are really obviously great teams that are sitting 8th, 10th in some tough positions there and really need to step up and get into that top 8 and give themselves a chance at actually playing some good finals footy. So Tedesco, I feel, is someone who's going to back up and play well. Also, Daly Cherry Evans. So both those guys, I think, are going to be great selections, and we don't have to talk too much about them. Obviously, a pretty nice matchup for Tedesco, and Manly versus Newcastle, a pretty solid matchup for DCE as well. So both those guys, a great pick. I'm going to hold off on Garrick this week. I just feel like his hip issue may hamper him a little bit, but there's obviously every chance he comes out and does really well. But 17.5K, you could probably leave him out of this one. If you're looking at someone like Tessie News, a really interesting one there at 16,500. He's had a couple of really good games in that fullback position. I wouldn't expect him to get 60 again, but definitely someone that needs to be on your radar. With Alex Brimson being really killing it as well. 3 of his last 4 games are 53 and above. He comes up against the Broncos. It's going to be a tougher game for him, but I still think he can shine in this one. If you're looking lighter, I think you have to go with Cody Ramsey. Even against the Roosters there, he's had 2 games over 50 in the last 3. And if he picking someone up under 12K that could do that, I think he's a great one. Kolar has been in superstar form there, 42 as his lowest in the last 4. So I feel like he's very close to a must-have. And see, I'd rather spend that 6K less on someone like Kolar, who has the potential to get somewhere close to a 45-50 compared to what Garrick, he could have that lower one if he's not in great shape or if he's not kicking goals this week. There's a few things to think about with him. Ponga, I feel like, has to back up as well. He's had 2 50s in his last 4 games, but has a 2 and a 28. So he can make or break you. But 11K getting Kalyn Ponga, pretty ridiculous. He does have to step up for sure, and I think he will, but it's a slight worry. Someone like Jordan Pereira, obviously at the 10K there, is a solid one as always, but I think the one you need to pick up as a bounce back factor is Daniel Tupou. Has had 3 light weeks in a row. I think he's going to bounce back here against the Dragons. He should pick up a try in this one, and that's my little bounce back factor for this one at the 10K mark there. If we're looking lighter, I think someone like Joseph Suali'i, if you want him instead of someone like Daniel Tupou, if you want to push for that one instead, he has a low score of 24 in his last 4 games. He's only improving on a week-to-week basis, and I think you can sneak him in at that nice price. Deleuze Howder as well, got a 56.7 with a couple of tries last week. If you think he can do the same this week with how well the Broncos are playing, then he could be your man to plug in at 9,600. Definitely a sneaky option in that game for sure. Halves and hookers, we spoke about DCE. I'm going to avoid Adam Reynolds. Just not kicking as well at the moment. Not playing as great in terms of his fantasy output. So I think we can leave him out until he starts to really bounce back. Because you're paying 23K for someone that you're not exactly sure about. I think is probably a silly move in this one. My must-have in this game is going to be Joey Manu. So has an 80 and an 89 in 2 of his last 4. 18,500. He's playing in the 6th position. We know what he does in that slot there. They need to win, and I think this is going to be the game where he really dominates and really can win you draft stars in this week for sure. Brayley's a little bit too expensive for mine. Getting that 34.6 in his 45 minutes was great. Should be getting close to 80 minutes with Chris Randall not on the bench, but I just think we can hold off a week on Browse. He could come out and do really well, and if you don't have anyone in that game that you want to pick, if you're not going for DCE, I think Brayley could do well. I'd pick him over someone like Milford, even though he's had a couple of good games as well. Just so I think the safety net there, if they don't happen to play really well the Knights, I think Brayley with the tackles can save you a little bit. Lockie Croker's an interesting one, coming off 1 low game, but really good before that. But I would probably select, if you're playing this one here, is to select Andrew McCulloch, who's getting close to 80 minutes and can get you over a 50 mark there. I think he's the way to play. Sam Verrill's obviously been pretty solid as well in his last couple of games, or 4 of his last 5 really, there for the Roosters, and that 7th of May one got injured obviously. So Verrill's a great pick as well. Ezra Mam at 11,600 has scored well in 5 of his 6 games, so he's easy to pick up at 11,680. And from there, you've got guys like Aaron Booth, who we're not sure how many minutes he's going to play, but at 10,000 is pretty cheap and could be serviceable for you. And we move to the forwards, and a very interesting group here. If you're looking at these top guys, I don't think Carrigan will play. He played 68 minutes on in Origin, and I think that he'll be ruled out of this one. You got some great options in guys like Clemmer, who came out and scored a try on the weekend, which was pretty cool. Olukwatu, also a great option if he can sneak for a meaty in that game. So pick one of those two guys, I would say. If you're looking a little bit lower, Taukei'aho is in incredible form. Has obviously moved up to a 19k clip, but has only hit under 50 once in his last 8 weeks. So Siwa is a great option. If you want to take a risk, you could go for someone like Fafita at 18.8, but again, has to come out and score super well, which he has only done twice this year, which is a little bit of a risk for sure. Crichton might get limited minutes this week, like it might be a 50 or 60, so I might just hold off on him. Frizzell needs a bounce back, but I'm more worried about him. I'd rather pick Barnett, who's coming off a great score, but a couple of 50s in before that one is nice for him. He did get concussed in one of those weeks as well, so has that opportunity to get the 80 minutes and really dominate. If you're looking lighter, I think Jack Bird at 14.4 is a great one. He's coming off 2 really good games especially, but nothing under 40 of recent times. So anything above 40 and you will be fairly happy with his output there for sure. And from lower on, we've got Tupanua coming off a rougher game. You could pick him for sure with some bounce back there, potentially scoring a try. Keenan Palacia coming off a great score of 49.7. Will he get similar minutes? I think he will, with Mr. Payne Haas and also Carrigan out. They're letting Kurt Capewell rest, so very much the same team as last week. So if you think he could do well, then that's great. Kobe Hetherington played big minutes, and he could be another great option at a little bit cheaper. And then someone like Zach Hosting, who come out and got a 53.2 on debut, and should be getting 80 minutes again this week. So plenty of options on the Broncos side of the ball, and it's really generally it from all the cheaper guys here on your Saturday night. So I hope you enjoyed those picks and get something out of that. And for anyone in the comments, jump in and let me know how you go and kind of what teams you're looking to select. In that description, there's that link there to sign up. Hit that play link and get cranking on DraftStars. I hope you all have a great weekend, and wish you all the best of luck for DraftStars. I'll catch you in the next video, guys. See you later.